Hello, my name is Harvey and welcome to my shop. In today's video, we're going to be tackling Formica, the cutting, everything that's involved, and getting it down on the countertop. Now, as you can see here, I have my Formica. I took it out of my box. Came in just in a roll. It had a nice little strap around of cardboard. It was no issue. Took it out. I was a little bit concerned when it came out of the box that it would just go, which this stuff can do, and if you're not careful, this stuff will cut you. But with that being said, I managed to get it down on my table. I took a piece of plywood. Well, actually, I got my table saw, and I put a piece of plywood down underneath of it. This is a 4x8 sheet. I only need about 26 inches in width of it. One thing to note is when I was measuring my countertop, I realized that my counter on my workbench is more than 8 feet long. It's actually an extra 1.5 inches. So instead of going and buying another piece that's 12 foot long, you can't get them in 5x12, but I don't really want to for this time. I will have plenty to do with this. I'm just going to put on the one end that doesn't get as much use. I'm going to use a piece and make a joint on it. And that'll be another where you can see how to bring it up and make a joint with it. It's relatively easy to do. So we'll get started. Now, I clamped down a straight edge. Plywood is not the ideal thing, but we're just trying to get this thing scored. I had a piece of plywood left over from doing the drawers that I was able to have a nice straight edge, not a factory edge. I cut it on the table saw, and it was a nice edge. So basically what I did was I measured from this point over to here, and this is about 26 inches. I left myself about 1 inch of overhang. Now this is the factory edge, as is this. The other side's pretty nice edge as well. And this little tool here is a scoring blade. And simply all you have to do, you just kind of put it up against there, put a little pressure on it, and bring it down, score it. Now, ideally, I can hear it. It's pretty close to going through all the way through. I can also tell it by the way this thing's kind of humping up here. So I've got a pretty good grease in this thing already. And that's what all these are. It's just little bits and pieces of the laminate. Now the next thing to do is basically bend it up and snap it. The Formica does not have to be this width that you are. You're going to be trimming it off with a router anyway. So all we're trying to do is get down to a manageable size where we can get it over there, get it glued down, and then we can trim it later. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to break this. And that was as simple as that. Now, as you can see, this lays on here pretty good. I've got a little bit of an overhang, and it's going to go up against that wall pretty good. Now, my wall is out some. It's not going to lay perfectly flat against there, but I want to get as close up as I possibly can, because what I'm going to end up doing when I get this on here is tool is going to be back here, and it's going to come up to about this point here, somewhere in here. And then I'm going to have a little trim piece that I'll put across there that'll go out to the edge, and they'll make up for some of the wall being out. Now, as you can see here, this is about how much I'm short. Now, I'm not going to put a short little piece on there like that, because one, a short little piece like this is not going to have that much adhering power and I wanted that to be bigger. So what I have to do is I have to do something about like this. Now what this is going to do, it's going to allow me to get a nice edge in here, and it gets enough material out to here that's going to be glued down where, yes, there will be a seam, you will be able to see it, but it'll be nice and tight, and then it'll give me enough adhesion where I can actually do my routing along here and here. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna do next, is I'm gonna go ahead and cut that piece. Now the only thing I'm trying, this is the piece I'm going to use, but I'm going to cut it down a little bit more. But the main thing I'm looking for is a factory edge against a factory edge here. And that's what's going to be important.
A few moments later.
Now I got that down where it's a little bit easier to work with. Gets a nice factory edge there. And that'll work out just nice. Sweetness. All right. I have the first coat of contact cement on both the bench top and my pieces that of Formica that are going to go on there. For the most part, this is set up pretty decently, but I'm going to be putting a second coat on here shortly. And this would be one of those interesting times where smell-o-vision will give you the full experience here, because contact cement definitely got an aroma to it. I always recommend having a bunch of shop towels around, because you know they're cheap. You may need them to, like I just did here. This roller here, basically, it's already set up from the first coat that I did. I couldn't reuse it, so I'm gonna have to go get another one. But this towel is now history. All right, there we go. All right, I have my second layer of glue on. It's dry to the touch, so I'm gonna start putting my stickers on. Now I'm laying these stickers on so I have something to keep the two pieces of that have the contact cement on them separated until I want to stick it down, because once this stuff touches, it's stuck. So, and that's basically, these are just scraps from when I was cutting out the drawers and stuff. Some places are a little bit more tacky than others, but for the most part, it's pretty even. All right. Now, that should be enough. Now I'm going to stop the camera and get it where it'll focus on this. I'm going to get my son to help me put this on here, and then we'll go from. Now comes the next little part, which is going to be this piece that goes here.